Starla McLean's shop is unique. People from all over the state trust her with their keepsakes and put their memories in her hands.
People will come in and say, I wouldn't trust anybody else with these. And it's neat. And it's because they know I care and I want to do my very best with whatever they give me.
Her store, once a mainstay in Greensburg, is now a small temporary shop in Mullinville, 10 miles west of the devastated town. Starla Stitch and Frame opened in 1983 on Greensburg's Main Street and thrived there for over 2 decades. On May 4th, 2007, Starla lost her home, her belongings, and her store.
The store was just flat. I mean, there was nothing left of the shop.
Starla and her family spent hundreds of man-hours cleaning the area where her shop once stood. They found very little that was salvageable. The few things they did find, however, were priceless.
We had a lady's family rings from all of the generation of all their wedding rings and family rings, and we were putting them in a shadow box. And we had already attached them to the mounting board, but it was laying there on the floor, and we went and carefully dug, and we found every single one of those rings.
1 year after the tornado, pieces of broken frames and muddied thread can be found on the site of the old shop.
You still see debris. And people have come and they have cleaned and cleaned and cleaned and cleaned, and there's just debris. I mean, you just can't seem to get rid of it all. It doesn't matter how hard you work.
Personally, Starla says the flattening of her home and business was not that bad. She knows a tragedy far worse than losing materialistic things. Years ago, her 19-year-old daughter was killed in a car accident. Her cherished pieces of what remained of her daughter's life were incredibly spared by the tornado. Now, Starla is working hard to restore, repair, and reframe others' items so that they too can be comforted by their memories of life before the tornado. Starla and her husband considered leaving Greensburg.
Even though mine blew away, I still knew I had my customers, I had my clientele, and I could still get my business back up.
And she has. Starla's shop reopened in Mullinville in October, and while it's fine for now, she's anxious to get her business back in Greensburg. The smaller space and fewer tools she has to work with only allow her to finish 20 pieces a week, compared to the 30 to 35 she did before.
End of this year, or for sure by the middle of next year, maybe the 2-year anniversary, there will be somewhere in Greensburg.
Starla smiles and points out how large her old space was as she looks through some photos.
Anyway, that was the used to be.
But she knows that her shop, like the town of Greensburg, will be back.
It's going to be a long time before Greensburg is really a town again, and it will never be the same town.